machine learning, artificial intelligence, Google Cloud, and fiber to the North Pole. I'm Tonya Hall for ZDNet and Tech Republic, and joining me is Mike Fisher. He is the Chief Technology Officer at Etsy. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks, Tonya. Great to be here.
Most of our viewers will recognize that Etsy is a leader in global marketplace for unique and creative goods. Tell us about your journey to Etsy.
Sure. So I'm at Etsy. Etsy is a startup, from 2005 in Brooklyn, and has grown to be one of the largest tech startups in New York. That was homegrown there. And I'm at Etsy when they were just a small startup as a consultant. And I got the chance to work with them for a number of years on different projects. And then this past July, I got the opportunity to join them full time as their CTO. And I jumped at it to be able to support their mission of a global marketplace.
Etsy is very community oriented. So what's changed in the last 13 years?
Yeah, it is very community oriented, and a lot of that still stays the same. In fact, we announced our mission last fall, that to keep commerce human, and that really sort of restated this purpose that no matter how large we get, we really believe in connecting the buyers and sellers individually. And that's the really cool thing about this, is that we use some advanced technology to keep commerce human, one transaction at a time between one buyer and one seller. And we are this global marketplace. We're in almost every country in the world with 2 million sellers and over 35 million buyers connected with 50 million unique items on the marketplace.
To your point, you mentioned your mission statement about keeping commerce human, but how do you stay true to that mission while embracing machine learning and artificial intelligence?
Yeah, we love to think of the idea that we use this advanced technology to enhance the communication and the connection and connecting people that because of this 50 million unique items, we help the buyers find the items that they really can fall in love with very quickly. And then we allow this communication one-on-one with the sellers, and they can ask about how it's made or how to customize it, or anything that they want to know about the creative process. And so we use all of this data and machine learning to really power that search and discovery process, so that we can find a buyer maybe around the world from their from the seller, and enable them to be connected, which they could never do in person, because they would never find each other. And we see that we really are that empowerment to be able to connect them.
You've recently transitioned your data center from in-house to Google Cloud. So talk about that decision, and what were your concerns for that process and your requirements?
Yeah, so we talked about Etsy is this startup from Brooklyn that it always had a really strong engineering culture. And back in 2005, when it started, there were a lot of the tools that they wanted to do weren't available. They were an early continuous integration, continuous deployment. We still do that. We were early in the DevOps, and because of early in the monitor everything sort of space. And when Etsy started, their tools weren't available. Fast forward, when I joined about a year and a half ago, a lot of these tools are now available. And so we took the time to look and say, what are the areas that we can partner with someone and find a company that does what we used to have to do ourselves. And in one case, the data center and hosting environment was something that came to the top as, when we made that decision in 2005, there really wasn't any alternative. But fast forward, there's a lot of providers that might be an option. And so we undertook an investigation to look at different cloud providers, and a lot of our requirements, were very, very technical in terms of the compute and storage. But we also, Etsy is, besides the marketplace, it's really driven by big data and machine learning. And so we wanted a partner that really specialized in big data and machine learning. And so that was one of the chief criteria. The other was, we do have this mission of keeping commerce human. And if we did anything that went against that in terms of not only the way we work with each other in the Etsy engineering, but even in the way we host things, if we didn't sort of keep true to that mission, it wouldn't feel right. And so that was one of the things that really mattered to us was, can we do this in a way that compute is ecological and environmentally sustainable? And so a lot of the criteria around that was important when we selected our partner.
Explain content-specific ranking.
Sure. So one of the things that we apply machine learning to is search. And with 50 million unique items, the challenge that we have is these items are unique. They're handmade. They're often handmade. They can be vintage, one of a kind. And so the sellers label them and tag them with what they just what they feel it describes. And so we don't have SKUs or structured listings or things like that that a typical e-commerce company. And so our search becomes really difficult, and we want to help the buyers find exactly what they want as quickly as possible. And so we can take the search results from a typical search query and re-rank them based on the context of that buyer. And so we take all of these historical information from previous buyers, and we use that to re-rank the search results. For instance, if you search for alarm clock on Etsy, you might be looking for parts of an alarm clock because you want to make something out of it. You might be looking at pictures of alarm clocks, or you might actually be looking for alarm clocks. And we can tell based on the context of your search and other people's search that are similar, what you're really looking for, and re-rank the results and give you things that are most relevant to you.
What role do multiple screens play? I search for on Etsy on multiple devices. So do people have different purchasing habits on different, like mobile versus desktop?
They do. We see there's two ways that people interact with Etsy. One is they really want to get in and get something, and that's where that context-specific ranking really helps. Is they know exactly a gift that they're looking for or something. The other way people look at interact with Etsy is discovery. They just want to look at those 50 million items and find the unique and amazing things. And we find that a lot of the mobile interactions are done for that, right? You're sitting at your desk, maybe in between meetings, or you're eating your lunch, or you're on your commute, and you're browsing the mobile device. And so you just want that discovery. And other times, maybe at night when you're in front of the TV and you say, "I've got to buy a gift for my friend's birthday," and then you know exactly what you're looking for. And so we see the two differences between desktop is typically very specific, and the mobile is often that discovery.
When I'm searching on Etsy, it's pretty apparent. I mean, most people know the things that I'm interested in, but I'm sure there are some people that would probably like a little more privacy. How does Etsy view security? You're collecting all this all this data, and you've got all this machine learning to understand our habits and our likes. How are you protecting us?
Sure. So, we take it very, very seriously. We underwent, the full GDPR, process, and made lots of changes with that to ensure that we comply with that, and we apply it, to our data and the way we protect it and the way we anonymize it. And, that's really what we do. Is even though we're looking at patterns, we don't associate that with particular user accounts. We really anonymize that data so that we're just looking at trends over, we actually collect over 1 billion events a day off of the marketplace. And we use that in collection, and we don't use, we also don't share any of that data with third parties. So it's really, we take it very serious because we understand that, the stuff that you search for, you want that to be your private information. And we allow features and functionalities so you can do things like clear your search results and stuff like that so that you can be protected.
Well, on a more serious side and from the technology side, how do you prepare for the holiday season? Do you have a fiber connection to the North Pole?
Yeah, as most e-commerce, the holiday season is really important to us, and so we start back in August doing load of performance testing and preparing for it. And so we've already been doing that, and we will also have a sort of a push to do some of the final features so that we can have the absolute best search and discovery marketplace for the holiday season for our buyers and sellers. And so we've been working hard at the end of Q3 and beginning of Q4 for that. And then we have a period, even though we are a CICD shop, meaning that we push code 20 to 30 times a day into the marketplace. We do have a period of about a week in which we really slow that down, the sort of the very peak week. But otherwise, we're pushing hard to get those final features in for the sellers, and of course for the buyers to help find those items.
Well, I will certainly be spending a lot of time on Etsy in the next coming months. Thanks again, Mike Fisher, Chief Technology Officer at Etsy. If somebody wants to connect with you, or maybe they want to find out more about the work that you're doing, how can they do that?
Sure. So you can connect with us on the Coders Craft blog. and find out what we're doing there. You can also connect directly with me on Twitter as Mike Fisher_fish.
Find more of my interviews right here on ZDNet or Tech Republic, or go to my website, tonyahall.net. Thanks for watching.